like to call the Liberty Elementary School Board meeting to order for June 12th. This is our regular scheduled meeting here at the Jerry Rovey facility. We have all 5 board members present, including Board Member Parks, Aguirre, Bixler, Kenyon, and myself, Michael Todd. We did the Pledge of Allegiance during our work session, so we will forego that at this point. Our next item on the agenda is 3.2, approval of the regular agenda form. Members, before we make the motion, I'd like to request that we pull, or I will be pulling 7.5 and 8.4 for both of these agenda topics. So if we can get a motion without those, that would be great.
Mr. President, I move that we
Go ahead, Mark.
We're on 3.2, right?
That's correct.
Okay. I'm sorry. I apologize, Paul.
No problem. Mr. President, I move that we approve the regular agenda form consistent with Board Policy BEDB and temporarily suspend governing board policy with which this agenda may be inconsistent.
Okay, and if you could specify 7.5 and 8.4 should be pulled.
Is there a second?
So, point of order, normally that takes place, I believe, when we actually get to the consent agenda and we go for approval, that at that point, then we pull those items.
That would be for the consent, but we're also pulling 8.4, and the chairman can set the agenda, and 7.5 and 8.4 both need to come off at staff request.
Dr. Monroe, may I just clarify? President Todd, just want to clarify, did you want to pull 8.3 or 8.4 from the general business? Just wanted for clarification on that.
I was told it was 8.4. I'll reconfirm with staff. Might be 8, it should be 8.3. My note says 8.4, but it should be 8.3.
Yeah, I think I'm looking. Maybe I have an older agenda, discussion and consideration to approve the parent-student handbook. So I'm looking at Mrs. Camps has 8.3, but the one in front of me has 8.4. So maybe we had an old draft or something. I'm not sure. But
Okay.
is that the one you're referring to, the parent-student handbook, correct?
Yes, but let's clarify what's been publicly posted on the door outside. So we have this right. We need to make sure we stay with public posting.
So do you want to go check that, Athena?
I'll
Let's
ask
just
Mr.
make sure.
Nuttall.
I may be lost in the drafts myself, so thank you for that. We want to make sure we get the right numbering. And maybe I am working off an old one I've made some notes off of, so that just may be my mistake.
You get one per meeting.
I'm already used up.
But after your first month, you only get one per year.
Okay, so what I found is 8.3 is the handbook outside.
Okay, so our packet does match what was publicly posted. Okay, so then it would be item 8.3. As chairman, I'm removing, and 7.5 at the request of staff. So now,
That request is coming from administration.
Correct. 7.5, correct.
He just said 8.3.
8.3 also, and the
Yeah.
chairman can't set the agenda, and I've removed that one. Will not be heard tonight.
So
So right now, we have a motion on the floor, but no second.
That's correct.
We're still dealing with 3.2.
Correct.
So do I have a second for Board Member Bixler's motion? Final call for a second for Board Member Bixler's motion. Okay, hearing none, that motion has died. I will again take a motion for 3.2, approval of the regular agenda minus 7.5 and 8.3.
Mr. President, I make a motion.
point of order. The motion was just all of that just didn't have a second, that just died, correct?
It died, so we go back to do it again. We can take another motion.
Mr. President, I make a,
Go ahead, Mr. Aguirre.
So you just stated that you're looking to go for, you're accepting a motion with the same numbers that just failed.
No, sir. Board Member Bixler did not specify the numbers of the agenda items to be pulled. My request was a motion to approve the agenda with the exception of 7.5. And originally I said 8.4, but it was corrected by staff to be 8.3.
Yeah, Mr. President, I don't recall us doing it in this way. Is this a new procedure we're going to do? Because in the past, we've gone ahead and agreed for the temporary suspension of BDEDB and then pulled things from the consent agenda.
Right, but 8.3 is not a consent agenda item. And prior to the meeting, the chairman sets the agenda. I have requested to pull 8.3 off at this time. 7.5, I was just trying to streamline now. If you want to wait and pull it when we get to the consent agenda, that's fine, or we can do it now.
Well, again, I'm just asking whether or not we're changing what we have done from
We
the
are not,
past.
it can be done either way.
And so what are we going to do? Are we going to do it the way we're just now talking about, or are we going to do it the way we've done it in the past?
Well, we've never had to pull another agenda item that got added that we didn't
Well,
want
we
on
actually
there.
have. We have
So that would
pulled
be
action
8.3.
items that were a part of the agenda that, and it was administration that made the recommendation that we pull. And we have pulled those before.
In the
It wasn't
consent
during
agenda.
3.2.
We can remove it now because once we approve the agenda, we're locked into 8.3. We can
That's
delay.
not true.
That's not what we've done
It's
before.
not true. I'm sorry, you're incorrect. That is not true. BEDB states that we don't have to go in the order of the agenda, that you can move around. Past practices and past precedents have been set with this district has been that you table things or at the request of when you get to that item during regular board business, at the request of administration, that item is pulled at that point, or that item is tabled at that point for further work that administration needs to take place.
Or we can pull it beforehand, just as we would do if I had done this last Friday. It would have never made the agenda.
I apologize.
I could have removed 8.3 on Friday, and it would have never made the agenda.
That's
The
correct.
board chairman makes it. I can pull it at any time that I choose to.
The agenda is set for the public. That's why
And we
it's
can
set so
remove
far in
any.
advance.
We cannot
So if
add.
the public comes to want to speak on that particular item, that you can't just simply pull items at will.
You can pull an item.
I apologize, but I
Mr.
strongly
President, can we
disagree.
call the question, please?
First, we need a motion and a second.
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the regular agenda form minus 7.5 and 8.3. So I make the recommendation to approve, the regular form consistent with board policy BEDB and temporarily suspend governing board policy, which with this agenda may be inconsistent.
And your motion did include 7.5 and 8.3 being removed, correct?
Correct.
With that, I'll need a second.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Further discussion.
Again, to what Paul is saying of, are we going to do this in this format moving forward? Because if there's other board members who within the consent agenda, item number 7, would like items pulled, those board members need to know at this point so that they can also have the opportunity to pull items.
They will have when we call back to our consent agenda. If there's anything else that wants to be pulled, we can pull it there as well.
Because there's an additional approval for the consent agenda once we get to 7.1.
That's correct.
Okay.
Just simply pulling one off the agenda completely for the time being. Okay, with that, I have a motion, a second. When I call your name, please specify your vote. Board Member Parks.
Aye.
Board Member Aguirre.
Yes.
Board Member Bixler.
No.
Board Member Kenyon.
Yes.
I'm also a yes. We'll show that approved 4 yes, 1 no. Next on our agenda will be 4.1, attendance and enrollment reports from Dr. Monroe.
President Todd, members of the board, attached you see reports for attendance and enrollment, and staff and myself will answer any questions from the board that you may have.
Members, any questions?
Yes, when we take a look at the attendance, just so I understand the impact of our enrollment, I know that we're at 91.4%. Was that our final number, which is an improvement over the previous year, which was 91.1, I believe. Do we know the daily rate for each child per day off of the unweighted amount? So if I were to take the $4,500 we get for each child and divide that by 30, would that give me the daily rate?
Can you explain that question a little?
Yeah, I'm not
different,
asking a
Mrs.
good one.
Bixler?
What I'm wondering is, for each child that misses a day, what does that cost us?
For a child that misses a day, what would that cost us? Well, Beth, do you want to take a stab at it? I have an idea, but do you want to take a stab?
We are past the 100th day. Excuse me. We are past the 100th day ADM count.
I was thinking when it does cost us, which I thought would be during the 100-day count. Right?
The first 100 days, but once we're past the 100 days, the ADM is set. 4,700 per student.
Right. But, and we get that per what? Year?
4,700 per student per year, the current year.
So if I were to divide $4,700 by 180, that's the number of instructional days. That would give me how much per day each child gets if it's not weighted. Would that be a correct statement?
I suppose you could look at it that way. Yeah, I suppose you could. That would make sense to me in my, how you're
Anybody
asking
got
it.
some calculator math handy? What's 8?
Math numbers today.
4,700 by 180 students. So you're trying to get an idea of how much does it cost each, or how much money are we getting each day for that day
My
of
point
instruction?
being, before you take that day off, consider what it's costing us.
I see.
So could Board Member Bixler would be comfortable if we asked for staff to just give us an update at the next board meeting or in a board report, if they can figure that out?
I think it's a fair thing to ask for, and I think it's a good number to know.
Yeah, we can do a little research and put it in the board update. I kind of see what you're getting at, and we can definitely get you that.
Thank you.
Just doing rough numbers on that, I got $26.11.
So I think
$25 a
it's also just for
That's
clarification.
unweighted. So when we start adding weight, it goes up considerably.
To clarify, in that first 100 days, if our average daily enrollment was 85%, we finished the year at 91.4%, we were still funded at the 85. Even though we got more days after 100 days than prior to, we'd still be. So I think that's just important for everybody to, along your lines of those 100 days are super critical to attend. All days are, but those 100 days are real critical. Okay, any other questions from members of the board for 4.1? All right, hearing none, we will move to our next agenda item, 4.2, which is ASBATE report.
Mr. President, governing board members, this evening we have with us Sherry Stevens and Floor Signs from ASBATE. They've prepared a presentation, and they're going to make their way up to the podium, and our crew in the back has their slide presentation ready for them. Per governing board member request, we just wanted to make sure that we provided a comprehensive report from ASBATE, and so Sherry and Floor are here to grace us with their presence. We are grateful for their partnership. So Sherry, take it away. The remote is right there for you to advance your slides when you need.
And have I got a little light that'll work too? Cool. Okay. Is there a light on the end of it? Okay, cool. I've got one. Just in case. Thank you, board members, for having Floor and I. Floor's in the back, and she's going to be you want to wave your hands? She's the new account manager, and I almost need a step stool for this. At any rate, I've been the account manager for Liberty Elementary School District since you came on board with ASBATE back in 2019. I believe that was the date we were looking at, and enjoy always being a part of the meetings that we do with Jason and Lisa. And my opportunity today is to review ASBATE with you all and just kind of fly through things fairly quickly, but answer some questions if you have any along the way. So we will go ahead and get started here. So I do want to chat with you about your medical plan options that you have, your provider access inside and outside of Arizona, your prescription benefits, and the wellness programs and services that are available to Liberty Elementary School District employees. ASBATE was founded in 1981. It was a self-funded trust, and it's exclusively for school districts to provide insurance coverage. And so we'll talk a little bit about how those medical plans evolved, and the network access that you've got and all those good things. So this is kind of tailored towards your employees when we come out and do an open enrollment meeting. So it's kind of like you're an actual employee sitting through this presentation. So feel free, if you don't understand anything, we'll chat through it. But ASBATE, the trust, met this fall and decided monetarily that it was a wise decision to offer teledoc coverage to all ASBATE school districts for the new plan year starting July 1st. And so that's over on the left. And we're going to talk a little bit about a Prudent RX program that was put in place. And ASBATE is on YouTube and also on Instagram, and we encourage your employees to follow both of those venues and learn about their benefits through ASBATE. So let's start out with how ASBATE evolved and offered medical plans. There are 4 components of different slots of plans. They include classic plans, a copay plan, a value plan, and high deductible plan. There are a total of 9 of those for districts to choose from. All of them include preventative care. All of them allow you to see a doctor and pay a copay, except for the high deductible health plan. And all of them have various co-insurance percentages available. On the copay plan, which is the richest plan, we've got a lot of rural districts that still want to attract employees, and so they offer the copay plans. You don't see that in the marketplace anymore. Liberty is part of the classic, the value, and the high deductible health plans. They've got one from each of those areas. And it's super helpful for you just, to see what the coinsurance spread is. The classic plan being the richest, the value next, and the high deductible health plan. And they had some great meetings with the broker, unveiled the high deductible health plan and just secured some better knowledge for employees so that they really understood that plan and were actively, thinking about that plan moving forward. And so we'll talk a little bit about that as we go in here. And so we always start with going over plan terminology with employees because they seem to forget or just need a refresher on what plan terminology is. I won't spend a ton of time on this, but we just go over the basics with them so that they understand how the plans are made up. So let's talk about two of the major components. I'm going to talk about your network and your prescription benefits. This slide is dedicated to you all with the knowledge base that you understand the network that the employees are offered, which is the Banner Network. It's a performance network. It is exclusive to Maricopa, Coconino, Pinal, Pima counties in Arizona. And it is a robust network that is performance-based in the fact that doctors are held accountable for making sure care is timely, efficient, and there isn't excessive spend or waste going on under that network. And you are all very familiar with Banner being very prevalent here in Maricopa County. So, then in addition to that, you have the second tier. So the first tier is the Banner Network, and the second tier is Aetna's network, and that is here throughout the state of Arizona. It includes the additional counties that I didn't mention, and it is a national network. So Aetna's Choice Point of Service POS2 network is available around the country. Then Tier 3, which is the third component, is the out-of-network coverage that's available to employees. We want them to stay away from that arena. So this is just a snapshot of what the schedules look like. I'm circling all three tiers for you, just as an illustration. Again, Tier 1 Banner, Tier 2 Aetna, Tier 3 out-of-network. Okay? So when your employees are looking for providers, obviously we want to encourage them to be looking at the Banner Network first. And we've got that website link. If you want me to do a demo, I can have your tech guys back there go through that with you. But basically what does happen for the employees is they click on that link and then they go through the steps of determining what zip code they want to search a provider for. Then the mile radius, then choose the Banner Choice POS2 network, and then type in the doctor's name or the facility or likewise, and they'll get the search results if they are in Banner. Then likewise, if the particular provider is not in Banner, it will show them under Aetna's network. All right, so we've chatted about the medical plans. I've just got a brief overview. These are the three plans that Liberty offers. They are the classic gold plan. I've got the Banner illustration over on the far left, what deductibles and out-of-pocket maximums are. And then Tier 2 for Aetna is in the middle, and then over on the far right is the prescription. And we'll talk about those next, coming up here. Next plan is the Value Silver plan that Liberty offers. Same snapshot of what's happening for the member under deductibles and out-of-pocket maximums. And then lastly, the high deductible health plan. Then I've got the comparison of the three under the Banner Tier 1 for you. Then, we were really encouraged, your broker, Lisa Weston, we rolled out during a benefits session that was mandatory for the employees this year. It was awesome attendance. Lisa took the opportunity to educate the members on the high deductible health plan. ASBATE has teamed up with Health Equity as the HDHP, and I should say HSA, Health Savings Account Administrator. Those two work together on the high deductible health plan. And Health Equity provides a seamless interface for your employees, and it allows a funding mechanism for Liberty to deposit monies into the HSA accounts. So she did a well-rounded presentation speaking about the HSA account, what the maximum amounts are that can be contributed into it, and then went over the ease and the flexibility of using an HSA account, along with a debit card and kind of the rules of the road with it. Then I want to talk briefly about your prescription benefits. Those are through CVS Health. They are the other side of the equation. Besides the medical benefits, obviously we need to look at prescriptions. And so we go over that information with the employees. Employees have the ability to fill prescriptions anywhere they choose to. CVS is just behind the scenes as the pharmacy benefit manager. And so they allow members the deeper discounts. They've got a couple of additional programs in place that are 90-day that do require members go through CVS Retail or CVS Mail Order. And then in addition, we've got a brand new program called Prudent RX that's really an awesome zero copay setup responsibility for members. That is brand new as of last October, and these are on the specialty drug arena meds and helping them out with their expenses on those. We encourage members to get on caremark.com. They've got tons of great tools. They can set up their mail order. They can grab an ID card, they can do the drug cost tool, and it is very user-friendly for them. So, prescription benefits, we always go over that with the employees. It's prescription 101. It's similar to the medical tiers. The prescription benefits have tiers as well. Tier 1, generics, Tier 2, mid-range, Tier 3, higher cost, and Tier 4, the highest cost under specialty drugs. Then we have a snapshot of what both the classic and the value plans are over on the left as far as the expenses under each one of those 4 tiers. And then over on the right, the high deductible health plan and what the member can expect on being on that plan for prescriptions. So, in addition to that, there were some new things that happened with ID cards this past plan year. We were required to put deductible and out-of-pocket maximum information on the ID cards in this area that I'm kind of circling there. And then on top of it, this year, we added Teladoc for July 1st, and so employees will be getting another set of brand new ID cards this year with that added benefit. So we have some additional optional offerings available through ASBATE. Some of them Liberty takes advantage of, some they do not. Most of them, I just want you to be aware of, so that, if ever you're talking amongst yourselves and looking at plan options in the coming future plan years, you're aware of them, and I've showed you what they are. This is a brand new program that started about 3 years ago. It's called International Medical Solutions. It is a Mexico network. We have a fair amount of districts that travel south of the border. They exercise the opportunity to have significant cost savings. We see this definitely in the prescription arena. We definitely see it in the dental arena, and obviously medical care as well. They provide a very well-rounded service for us. We also have a dental program available through ASBATE, through Aetna. And I know Lisa Weston has shopped these offerings for you all to get the best options available and cost effectiveness for you. So maybe ASBATE wasn't competitive in some of the pricing on some of these services that I'm showing you, but I'm just making you aware of them. The next dental program was EDS Services, Employer Dental Services. This is an HMO dental program that's available. ASBATE has an overall vision plan that has been in place since its existence, and it's very basic on what it pays out for benefits. ASBATE added a new vision plan this for 7-1 and partnered with VSP, and that's a brand new, robust, very cost-effective, very positive vision program that employees can interface with, and it's a well-known network out in the vision arena. So I want to talk with you a little bit about wellness and Lisa Marshall's role here with the school district and all things wellness related. It's super duper important. We bring biometrics testing to the school district. Also, I mentioned the Teledoc program. We've got Skin.io. We'll chat in the slides that follow about the EAP program, and we also provide on-site with mobile on-site mammography and flu shots. And I'll go over the rest of these little squares here in the slides that follow. So the wellness program, this is Lisa's wheelhouse. She is all things wellness program related. She is going to be spreading the word out to the district members about the quarterly newsletters, the Working Well Wednesdays, that's Well Connected Wednesdays, and spring and fall campaigns. She is here to gear your employees and engage them in all things wellness and participation related. They include stipend monies that the district can get if they become a top performer at the end of the year for their spring and fall campaigns. There's additional monies that come their way. So Lisa's the cheerleader for sure here on this arena. We also have the EAP program. It's super important that that word gets out whenever people need help. And it's far beyond counseling. We also do financial services through the EAP, and we also have legal advice through them. Nurse health coaching. This is something exclusive to ASBATE. The conditions that you see listed here over on the left-hand side there are claims that come in on your employees. We zone in on these. We have a nurse that we have a staff of nurses, I should say, that comb through this claims data and determine outreach that's got to be done to employees to engage them in a health coach. They are there as a total concierge to help the member through their disease state, medication management, health management, weight management, the whole 9 yards, okay? In addition to nurse health coaching, we've got medical management. These are your high-cost claimants that are having chemotherapy, radiation, oncology, high-cost drugs, all of those things. We need to make sure they are moving through the system with pre-certifications properly, and their care is being addressed promptly for them. So we've got that behind the scenes. Teledoc, I mentioned this. Again, Liberty has had this in place this entire time. It's a great 24-hour access to doc care. All ASBATE districts will be enjoying this service starting 7/1. Skin.io, they were here. They were at the benefits fair. They had tents set up. It was an awesome turnout. We were encouraging people that didn't have an appointment to even go up and get things done. I don't know what your numbers ended up being. Yeah, but at any rate, I saw a lot of people over there, and we can report back to you when we come for another meeting. Okay, they are a skin cancer screening venue. It can be either virtual or an on-site offering. It's super duper easy to open the app, take a picture of something suspicious, send it over to Skin.io, the licensed dermatologist, look at it and say, you need to go in, we're gonna set you up an appointment and we're gonna get you taken care of. Hinge Health is these are all free programs under your medical plan at no cost to your members. Hinge Health is for back, joint, and muscle aches and pains, completely free service. We encourage this. We all just kind of tighten up from stress, either in our neck or back or shoulders or what have you. It doesn't have to be a chronic pain situation. It can just be, I need some stress relief. We've found the return on investment on this significant because we've had a lot of musculoskeletal claims come in under ASBATE. And it's super duper helpful. The member has got a great interface with a tablet. Everything is virtual, and they've got a coach as a physical therapist along their side. So it's a great experience for them. We've got year-round resources available. We send Lisa, all the required documents for the employees so that they're posted. And they've got access to information on their insurance plan. And we've got our customer service line that's available. Meritain has also got a website available. We encourage registration. Lisa needs to drive that membership to our website. She doesn't need to be going and fetching ID cards for everybody. And employees need to be self-serving for themselves. They can go fetch their EOBs. They can find out how much they've met on their deductible or out-of-pocket maximums. The whole 9 yards. Link up to DocLink, link up to prescriptions, the prescription website, all of those interfaces. And like I mentioned, you can find us online. We're available on YouTube and Instagram. And here are all of the contact entities that I went through. I went through things fairly fast with y'all. Does anybody have any questions for me on any of the programs?
Members, any questions?
Just a quick comment. The availability of the health savings plan, I really want to encourage people to take part in that. It tax shelters your income. It is a wonderful thing to do. The only hard part is guessing how much you're going to use, because what you don't use goes away. So you want to use everything, but golly, get involved. When do they sign up for that? At the start of the school year?
They did during open enrollment, and was your open enrollment in April, May? Yes, so HSAs allow you to roll monies over year after year after year and grow monies and invest them.
You can roll it over.
Yes, flexible spending accounts have that confined situation where you use it or lose it. Yes, so.
It's a terrific idea, and I highly recommend people taking advantage of that. I also want to thank Mark Aguirre for his work on the ASBET and being involved with that. What you offer our employees is just terrific, considering the cost of medical and the way it's just going through the roof. Keeping it affordable, quote, affordable, has been a really good task for you guys, and I appreciate what you guys do.
Well, and you have a voice, and that's the big thing, that Mark brings to the table, being a trustee. If you've got something on your mind that you want to see ASBATE do in the future, all you've got to do is bring it to Mark, and he will speak on your guys' behalf. And he's the driving force for all of the innovative changes that we do. So that's great. Yep. Anything else?
Any other questions? I have a couple.
Yes.
Back on the slide where you showed the medical plans overview, way back, I think slide number 4.
Okay.
You talked a little bit about preventative care.
Yes.
Is covered. My question with that is, I guess it's a little bit of a tough question perhaps, but define preventative care. And what I specifically would like to know is for diabetics, most of them are required lab work about 4 times a year. And that's preventative, but it doesn't ever seem to be covered. So I'm curious about that. Also, the retina scans that they do for diabetics, and that's preventative, because if you catch it early, all the studies pretty much show that your vision will stay. If you don't catch it, it goes away. But again, it seems like every insurance company balks at those two things. So I just wanted to get a little clarification from you guys, because we do have a fair amount of diabetics in the world today. So,
Well, and interestingly enough, there is going to be some discussion by the ASBATE Trust on a new diabetic program to be rolled out, hopefully, in the next year. And so we've got an opportunity. There's some great vendors who provide coaching, diet, maintenance, and all those good things. When we talk about preventative services, there is a fine line with that, because the minute a doctor diagnoses an individual, it goes from routine care to diagnostic care, and then isn't part of the preventative umbrella, and that's when costs are involved. And so as long as a person goes in for an annual preventative wellness visit with a doctor, it's paid for at 100%. The minute they are diagnosed with anything, they will be paying some cost share for lab work or doctor visits, regular follow-up doctor visits. But preventative also encompasses, Mr. Todd, it involves, mammogram screenings. That's part of it. Colonoscopies every 10 years. Those routine types of services are considered under that umbrella as well. So,
great, thank you. The only other question I had is ASBATE, it's exclusively available only to members who are part of the Arizona School Board Association, correct?
correct.
Okay.
Yes. Yep.
All right.
Good clarification.
Okay.
Yep.
Great, thank you, that's all I have.
All right. Anything else?
Anything else?
Did I cover everything good for you? Wonderful. Awesome. Well, thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Members, next on our agenda is item 5.1, Governing Board Updates. Board Member Parks, would you like to start us?
I don't have anything.
Okay, Board Member Aguirre?
Nothing.
Board Member Bixler?
Yeah, I just want to, not a lot going on campus, so I don't have a lot to report, but I was contacted by a community member that in the operation of what they were doing, they were volunteering their time and helping and stuff, and came across discrepancies, things that they had heard from the people they were working with about me, and then in their contact with other folks, were getting conflicting information. And so they did the right thing. They called me up and asked if they could sit and talk to me. And I just want to thank that community member for spending 2 hours with me. And I think most of all, what I appreciate is the fact that this person listened. So thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Okay, Board Member Kenyon?
I didn't have anything on the campuses. I did want to say this is Father's Day weekend coming up, and so I hope that everybody takes note and loves on their dads.
Great. It's been relatively quiet for me as well. However, it has not been so quiet for Miss Natasha Camp. And I just wanted to take a moment to recognize her. She was recently awarded the Arizona School Administrators Distinguished Administrator Award. I think it's really important, and these words go with, I don't even need to say them, but I will, to maybe embarrass her or tear her up or put her on the hot seat, so whatever you want to do. She's truly a leader that people want to follow. I think we've seen that more in the last few months. We saw it since she started, but we really saw it in the last few months. She's a leader who gets results. 5 years ago when she started at this district, there was almost zero curriculum. In fact, there may have been zero. She has taken that upon herself, and we've got curriculum, and we've got more curriculum, and almost every board meeting we're talking curriculum. So it's just a great job that she's done heading up the educational service for us. So she began working, establishing the curriculum for all the grade levels and subjects. Again, we had nothing when she started. Pretty interesting to come to a school district that's been around as long as we have and doesn't have that, but she works tirelessly. I've seen her absolutely dragging after board meetings at no fault of her own, but because she just continues to work. She's passionate and ever so purposefully to successfully lead the change efforts that the district has gone through over the last several years. So I would just like to recognize her. She drove to Tucson today, got a very nice plaque. Natasha, we have some. I can ask the board to come up front. Some flowers for you. Members, if you'll come up front, we'll take a picture. Brace off and take a picture. Take a brace off.
Few more. Perfect. Thank you.
Once again, Natasha, thank you for all you do for our district. It does not a single day goes by that we don't recognize it, and we hear from staff all the time. And I will tell you that what I heard more over the last couple of months is how calm you are. Like, there's a calming effect. So take that for what it is. But I've heard from several people how calm you've been over the past couple of months, which is kind of the opposite of what I expected. So you've either fooled them or something, but all right, members, our next item is 6.1, public comment. I have one from Elwood Kunstler. And just as a reminder, you have 3 minutes. It'll be up on your screen. We ask you to adhere to that 3-minute time frame.
I'll be brief. Superintendent Monroe, President Michael Time, and board members. I just come tonight to let you all know that there's a breath of very much needed fresh air that is blowing through this district. And I want to thank Dr. Monroe for coming to Liberty. I hope he has it in him to do the best. But this district has long needed someone like you and a breath of fresh air. And we and myself and the parents are extremely excited for the future at Liberty 25. Thank you very much.
Okay, next item on the agenda. Were there any comments from the board members for that? Any responses? Okay. Next up will be 7.1, the approval of the consent agenda. Members, we did have 7.5 was already pulled, and staff will bring that up at a later time. Are there any other items you'd like pulled?
Like pull 7.7, 7.8, 7.10, 7.18.
Okay, you got 7.7, 7.8, 7.10, and 7.18
Yes.
pulled. Okay, any others? Okay, I would like 7.4 pulled as well. And Mr. Aguirre, you had the most number of pulls, so if you'd like to make the motion to.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda with the exceptions of 7.4, 7.7, 7.8, 7.10, 7.18.
7.5.
Okay, have a motion for the consent agenda, pulling 7.4, 7.7, 7.8, 7.10, 7.18.
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor, I call your name, please specify your vote. Board Member Parks,
Aye.
Board Member Aguirre,
Yes.
Board Member Bixler,
Aye.
Board Member Kenyon.
Aye.
I'm also an aye. We'll show that approved 5-0. We'll move to 7.4, which is personnel items. I requested that one to be pulled, and the only reason I wanted to do that is to recognize Mr. Nuttall. He is resigning from this position to, I believe, return to a district you previously worked for. I wanted to congratulate you on that and thank you for your time here at our district. You oversaw several projects, the Liberty rebuild, the Blue Horizons build from ground up, from beyond ground up. I think it was subterranean. It was horrible. Blue Horizons edition, countless bus rear ends, breakdowns, COVID, and just due to the short time of this, I'm not sure we're getting to give you a proper send off, but I wanted to take time to thank you for that. Okay, next will be 7.7.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
I move that we approve the personal action items.
Okay, we can do that now.
Second.
All right, motion and a second for 7.4. All those in favor, call your name, please specify your vote. Board Member Parks,
Aye.
Board Member Aguirre,
Yes.
Board Member Bixler,
Aye.
Board Member Kenyon.
Aye.
I'm also an aye. Will show 7.4 approved, 5 yeses, 0 nos. 7.7, approval of resolution appointing Maricopa County Superintendent of Schools as the Chief Disbursement Officer for the garnishment of wages for fiscal year 2023-2024. Staff, do you have any updates or explanations on that? Clarifications?
This is a yearly resolution for Maricopa County to handle any garnishment that comes through. They accept them, and then they let us know, the district know, the individual that is having garnishments done.
So the concern that I have, and I understand that, but I don't recall there being an assessed fee. So, and forgive me if it's that way every year, it's just something that I wasn't aware of, because what I read is that it's $50 per garnishment. So if it's every other week, you see what I'm getting at? If it's child support, is that $50 every time they're taking child support out every week?
No, it's a $50 processing fee. One time to do the processing of the
So
garnishment
when you
paperwork.
say, when it says a garnishment, it's talking about the one action.
Correct.
Okay. So it's not every time that your wages are garnished every week or every other week. It's
The initial
understood.
processing of the
Okay,
paperwork.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Good question.
Okay, any more questions or discussion on 7.7?
Along those lines, just the next sentence, there's the average total fees paid per year is roughly $300. That's what the district pays, correct? Okay. Have we seen that vary significantly in past, or has that always been pretty steady right around there?
I believe it's been steady. We don't have that many garnishments, so to even see $300 might be a shot in the dark. It wouldn't be. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any additional questions or comments? I'll accept a motion.
Nope. Make a motion to approve item 7.7.
Do I have a second? Second. Okay, I have a motion and a second for 7.7. When I call your name, please specify your vote. Board Member Parks?
Aye.
Board Member Aguirre?
Yes.
Board Member Bixler?
Aye.
Board Member Kenyon?
Aye.
I'm also an aye. We'll show that approved. 5 yeses, 0 nos. Next up will be 7.8, approval of resolution authorizing signing of vouchers for fiscal year 2023-2024.
Is this something that's standard? Because it's always been my understanding that nothing goes out without the approval of the board. That we've actually had to wait on hiring people and issuing checks to people with the approval of the board.
This one specifically is for accounts payable, so that we can pay our vendors in a timely manner, not needing to wait for the board to approve the payment. You're correct, there is one that we don't hire people until after the board approves that. That's in your personal action items, but this is so that we can pay our vendors.
And this is not new. This has been every year we've
Every
done
year.
this. Yes.
Every district, every year.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions from members of the board? Hearing none, I'll call for the motion.
Make a motion to approve item 7.8.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion, a second to approve 7.8, approval of resolution authorizing signing of vouchers for fiscal year 2023-24. I call your name, please specify your vote. Board Member Parks.
Aye.
Board Member Board Member Guire.
Yes.
Board Member Bixler.
Aye.
Board Member Kenyon.
Aye.
I'm also an aye. We'll show that approved. 5 yes, 0 no. Next up will be 7.10, approval of Gallagher Benefits Consulting Services renewal for fiscal year 24.
So I just brought this, I wanted to pull this one because it's my understanding that ASBATE provides a lot of these services as part of our membership into ASBATE.
They provide some of them, but as Ms. Stevens noted just a moment ago, the partnership with Gallagher, ASBATE does not include some of the things that I have listed there in the executive summary. I will certainly mention some of those. Celerix, which is our enrollment platform, is paid for by Gallagher, and that's part of our fee for that. And Lisa Marshall is in the back, I think, still. If we were to go independently with our benefits platform, the cost that we would incur monthly for that cost would come right up close to the $26,000 annually. In addition to that, they assist us with maintaining our benefits hub and platform that certainly is established by ASBATE, but we partner with Gallagher to assist us with the maintenance of that, including all of the wellness information that Sherry had mentioned just a moment ago. In addition to that, we partner with Gallagher for our Wellness Fair event. They provide the education side for our open enrollment. In addition to that, as was noted in Sherry's presentation, the monitoring of the market rates for both of our primary and secondary benefits. So they assist us with that. In terms of secondary benefits, as was noted, Gallagher helps us with finding the best market value for the district and for our employees. We also have experience in usage rates updated monthly that are provided, and certainly ASBATE may provide those for us, but Gallagher partners with us to provide those as well. One of the big pieces, as well as the next two bullets, are client advocate services for claims assistance, as well as compliance questions. So it is the recommendation that we continue to partner with Gallagher to assist. One other item of note, as a growing school district and one benefits person in HR, Lisa relies very heavily on a lot of the background work that Gallagher assists with providing. And so that's what we're recommending moving forward, and I've included that overall annual amount for the board to review, as well as their proposal that they provided forward.
I have a quick question. Who handles all our HR? I mean, do we have another company that handles all our online interaction and everything for HR?
We pay for the human resources information system, and we manage that. We also have 2.5 people to assist us with that, for all of our employees.
Okay. We may want to look into PEO platforms.
Sir, I think we're getting off topic. This is specifically for consulting services.
But it is consulting services, Mr. Todd. In any case, that's it.
I just wonder if maybe something to think about moving forward is to do a comparative analysis of what we already get with a membership into ASBATE, and to see if we're doubling up on some things and possibly might be able to see an annual cost come down to the district from Gallagher. I understand. I get it. Folks are comfortable with Gallagher, and I'm not against Gallagher in any way. I just, if we can possibly save a little bit of money, then I'd like to look into that. If it's not an option, then it's not an option. So, but thank you.
Okay, any more questions? All right, with that, I'll take a motion.
Make a motion to approve item 7.10.
Second.
I have a motion, and a second to approve 7.10, approval of Gallagher Benefits Consulting Services renewal for fiscal year 24. Call your name, specify your vote. Board Member Parks,
Aye.
Board Member Bixler.
Aye.
I'm sorry, Board Member Acquire.
Yes.
Board Member Bixler, you're still an aye?
Still am.
All right. Board Member Kenyon?
Aye.
I'm also an aye. Will show that proof. 5 yes, 0 no. Our next one will be item 7.18, which the agenda topic is approval ratification of expense vouchers 2346, 2347, 2349, 2350, and 2351 in the amount of $1,593,976.96.
So the questions that I had was vouchers 2346, 2349, 2350, 2351. With 2346, Melissa Hostin in the amount of $12,000.
Consulting services,
For,
education services.
Mathematics,
okay. Don Hendrick, that would be 2349, $5,155.
Project Momentum Principal Partner,
Okay,
paid for out of the Project Momentum grant.
okay. So you're just saying the money came in, Project Momentum, it's just a revolving door, and that's just the way that it works. Okay. So Momentum doesn't pay that individual ahead of time before knowing that they're coming to our district then. Okay, it's just the way that they have things set up. Understood.
Reimbursement, correct.
Okay. Jay Pearson, 12,000.
Same,
Okay. Legacy Contracting, 22,000. That is voucher 2351.
I will check for you.
Okay.
That is a 50% of cost for repair of the masonry wall between West Star and the Pravada neighborhood, in agreement with the Estrella Mountain HOA. Because it's a common wall between the school and the subdivision.
Does that have to build the wall or
Does that go
repair
to
the wall?
bid? Does there have to be a bid on something like that?
The Estrella Mountain Ranch HOA provided us with a quote.
Of their contractor though, right? That's what I'm asking. They pick the contractor?
3 quotes. They provided us with the 3 quotes. And Legacy was the least expensive.
Okay. So the wall was, we could say 44,000.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Was that a new wall or a repair?
I can give you some background on that. The construction of the walls in Estrella, some of them were poorly done, and they're starting to deteriorate badly, which has an impact on the values of the houses there as well as just plain safety. And so there's been years and years and years of effort by a membership of the HOA to get those repaired. It's finally come down that the HOA is repairing those. And so as an HOA member, I'm I'm paying a fee to repair the walls. It sounds to me, and I don't know for sure, but it sounds to me like what's happened is the HOA has billed the district for the wall that's common between West Star and the residential properties that sit behind it. The HOA is the ones that contracted with the repair people for the walls. I mean, it's extensive. There's lots of walls being worked on. And so I'm guessing that they're just saying, this is the people that we contracted with initially for all of the work, and this is the portion that applies to that wall. I'm only guessing at that, but that's my guess as to what it is.
So the concern I have right now, and I'll just go ahead and say this out loud, is that the community as a whole within this school district is paying for repairs for a single community. Taxpayer money in the Freedom area is paying for repairs for an HOA that folks chose to live in that area. Are we sure this is above par? I'm asking the question because I honestly don't know the answer to this question. I really truly don't. On this, I don't know. I've never heard of this before the whole time I've been on the board.
Yeah, Board Member Guire, we can certainly research and get back to you. I do know in past districts I've been in, there have been these types of things that have occurred on common walls with neighborhoods and schools. So, but we can certainly dig into the details and make sure that we get you a well-informed answer.
Are we members of that HOA? I don't think we're members.
District is a member of the HOA.
Yeah.
We are not a member of the HOA.
wouldn't
The
see
last
that we're
the last we
partnership
met
then.
with the HOA representatives that share the common wall between West Star and the HOA, it was determined that both the homeowners and the school had equal responsibility in the deterioration of the wall from water usage and runoff and things of that sort. The difference between Freedom is that the Freedom HOA has determined full responsibility from the homeowner's side.
So I apologize. I apologize about my analogy. What I was saying is that the taxpayers, if you will, I just picked Freedom because, I'm just saying that those folks, or even the folks in Rainbow Valley who don't have block walls, right, I'm footing the bill, part of my money that's supposed to go to education. That's all I'm asking is, and I don't dispute what you're saying, Dr. Monroe, that it's taken place, and just be honest, I've never heard of this happening within our district yet. But it's interesting that you said that Freedom, the HOA in Freedom took full responsibility. But the HOA I don't even know how many there are in
I suppose we
Estrella.
can guess on 100% support from that community for overrides and bonds. Since we're helping to shoulder the bill, they can help shoulder our bill.
Yeah, I would say, taking your argument, you can think about that for a lot of things as far as taxes and monies that voters vote on or that are allocated to the district being used to one specific site. And I don't know all the background on this situation, but I do know in various areas I've been in, when there's been a common interest and there's been 50-50s or deals done, it can benefit both parties. And perhaps, again, that's what's happened here. And we can get you the details on it. But to your point, that argument also can be made for certain, we have a bond on the ballot for November, and some of those dollars will be spent on a new school, in certain areas. And so, as I mentioned, we can certainly clarify through a board update. Being new here, I don't know the history of Liberty, if this has been a common practice or not. I just know in other areas where there's neighborhoods and gated neighborhoods, this becomes an issue with the school, these common walls and things like that.
So my concern is that it follows the procurement rules.
It's not enough money.
That would be my concern. I mean, I know that things that we have to be, help neighbors out. I'm not disputing that. It's just, is everything,
Are we, any issues with compliance, Beth, that you see that you're?
Initially, when we got the request from the HOA to assist with the cost of of building back the wall. They just provided us with the one quote. And I pushed back and I said, no, the district requires 3, if not 4, depending on the price. So they went back and got the additional 2 quotes and provided those to the district.
Okay. Because I think this is the only time this has ever happened in this district, to be honest.
Has this,
That's why I'm asking these questions.
Sure.
'Cause, you know,
Sure, and there's no thresholds that we were exceeding or anything through that with the 3 quotes, Beth?
No.
has this been paid already?
Yes.
okay.
I will say moving forward, Board Member Aguirre and members of the board will make sure we do a better job of communicating the details and the facts, so it's just not brought to the board in a board meeting. So if these types of things are happening, that we know well ahead of time, and we keep the board in the loop so it just doesn't come at the board meeting. I wasn't aware that we were setting a precedent, if that's indeed what's happening. But again, I can only speak to my past experience where in growing districts with neighborhoods, these seem to be common things that happen.
Yeah, for sure. Because my concern is that when the initial construction took place, who built the wall? Right? The HOA built the wall. But now, since there's another entity, that now all of a sudden that entity has to split the cost of that wall?
No, I understand. No, it's a valid concern.
So,
So I mean, right now, my understanding is this wall is a shared wall, right? Between our facility and
Correct.
the HOA.
Correct.
So the HOA could say, let's just tear the wall down, and we would
We'd have to build a new one.
build our wall. So right now, we're helping facilitate half of the cost of this to get it built or fixed, right?
Correct.
Or we put up our own wall. It's really what it is.
Correct.
wonder if the homeowners' fees go down now that they know that.
No, they went up.
Sorry, I just had to say it out loud. Had to say it out loud. Apologize. With that, I'll make a motion to approve item 7.18.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second for 7.18, approval ratification of expense vouchers 2346, 2347, 2349, 2350, and 2351 in the amount of $1,593,976.96. Call your name, specify your vote. Board Member Parks.
Aye.
Board Member Aguirre.
Yes.
Board Member Bixler.
Aye.
Board Member Kenyon.
Aye.
I will also be, and I will show that approved 5-0, but I would like to explain my vote and ask that staff meet with the HOA. If we're shouldering these costs, I think they need to become much larger supporters of our district as well, and we should apply full pressure to them for that.
Understood.
We single-handedly are the biggest influence of their property values up there, and they need to recognize that. Okay, next, that completes all of your list, correct? 7.18 was last, yep, all right.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, moving on to 8.1, discussion consideration to approve Chelsea Soam for assistant principal for Blue Horizon Elementary for school year 2023-2024.
President Todd, members of the governing board, we're bringing forward this evening a recommendation for Chelsea Soam as the assistant principal for Blue Horizons Elementary. As you are aware, we have a pretty rigorous process. We had 27 overall applicants. It was an extended period of time that we had the assistant principal vacancy opening. And we had 11 qualified applicants, and Chelsea screened into the top 3. One candidate that we had scheduled for had accepted another position, so we did interview 2. Chelsea is from Alaska. She is currently serving as the district early childhood preschool coordinator. She has assistant principal experience, as her resume indicates. The committee recommended Chelsea to Dr. Monroe. Dr. Monroe met with Chelsea on Tuesday, May 30th, and approved our recommendation and supported our recommendation. She is going to have a little bit of a difficult time getting here on July 1st due to a couple of moving issues. We've spoken about that. Dr. Monroe supports that, as well as Mr. Neminsky, the principal at Blue Horizons. So her contract will begin on July 24th, just in time for new teacher orientation. She'll be prepared, and we'll be certainly communicating with her in advance of her arrival here in the area. So her prorated salary amount is there for you, and we're bringing forward the recommendation for approval this evening.
So she's going from negative numbers to century marks.
And she actually said that type of stuff. She said she'd like to be able to go outside, but she knows that she might have to go outside late into the afternoon. Or
July 24th is a good day to go outside, guaranteed for sure.
It will test whether or not she really wants to be in Phoenix, Arizona on July 24th.
Ms. Nell, as part of our recruitment, did we offer up a lot of sunscreen?
We have several at the district, certainly. We'll hand it out by the droves.
Good job. Yep.
So let me get straight. We had 11 qualified applicants for this position.
We had 11 qualified applicants at one point in time, yes.
Well, right, but I mean, that's pretty amazing. I mean,
It really is.
It really is pretty amazing. It says a lot about the school district, so thank you all.
And actually, if I may, Board Member Parks, just to echo what you said, again, being new, I'd say that was a very, very healthy pool when we have such a shortage of teachers. And I enjoyed very much my interview with her, the quality of her answers, trying to feel of her integrity and her heart and her leadership experience screamed through. So I'd say a 27 number with 11 qualified applicants, that's something Liberty should be really proud of.
Absolutely. Thank you.
She's also going to have through her spouse, some additional direct community ties as well. To
Yeah,
her.
so from my understanding, and you may know more, but I believe her husband is looking to work for Goodyear PD, which is pretty exciting, and they're very outdoors people, so they're excited to really be invested into our own community here, which is pretty awesome.
So we're going to convert them to indoor people in July.
Yes.
Tell her it does get better so we don't lose her. Okay, members, any other questions, comments? Hearing none, I'll call for a motion in a second.
Mr. President, I move that we approve Chelsea Sohm for the assistant principal for Blue Horizons Elementary School for the 23-24 school year.
I'll second that.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve Chelsea Sohm for the assistant principal for Blue Horizons Elementary School Year 2023-24. When I call your name, please specify your vote. Board Member Parks.
Aye.
Board Member Aguirre.
Yes.
Board Member Bixler.
Aye.
Board Member Kenyon.
Aye.
I'm also an aye. Will show that I approve 5 yes, 0 no. And Chelsea, if you're watching, welcome to our district, and we look forward to working with you.
Can I make a comment right before we get into there?
Sure, explain your vote.
So, not really explanation of my vote, but Chelsea, I moved here from Minnesota, where it gets deep, deep, deep below zero as well, and so it is an adjustment period, but I think you'll love it here.
All right, 8.2, discussion consideration to approve school year 2023-24 stipends.
Mr. President, members of the governing board, this evening before you are the recommended stipends for next school year, 23-24. Just important to note here, with the passing of the override in November, the governing board provided the direction to administration to bring back all athletic teams previously cut. We were phasing the override. And so what I tried to do for the governing board and the public is to put forward a simple chart that says all of the additional when we're going back to full athletic schedules and the difference in there. So that top chart where it says the 22-23 versus 23-24 athletic teams, you'll see bringing back all of those, which certainly does have an impact on the overall amount when you're adding an additional 7 sports back in. So that is the first one, the first point of note here for the board this evening. In addition to that, the budget interest to add athletic directors at each of the elementary schools. And I just wanted to note that the schools that did not have full-time assistant principals last year did have a stipend position for athletic director, and so you'll see that discrepancy on there, and we're adding back in all of those. Interesting to point out as well, when we did reduce the athletic teams, we reduced the number of overall seasons from 4 to 3. You know, to get all of those sports in a calendar year, you've got to divide those up a little bit differently. And so it goes from 3 seasons now. Next year we'll be back to 4 seasons. So the athletic directors will get paid their stipend amount of $900 per season for a total of $3,600 per campus. Those schools can divide those athletic directors up however they want in seasons. It may or may not be the same person throughout. On the attachment that I provided on the FY24 academic and extracurricular stipends, I just want to point out that I highlighted all of those areas that I've noted above so that you can see those components added back in. In addition to that, all of our stipends that we pay for Project Momentum are also included on this comprehensive document. So it's a one-stop shop for our governing board to note all of those pieces. We're recommending this evening that the Project Momentum stipends do not require individual board approval each and every time. Every other stipend that we bring forward is a standalone stipend. So when Project Momentum happens, we schedule in advance folks to attend a Saturday workshop training or something like that. And those rates don't change. We have sign-in sheets that we validate with payroll and HR. And so we're recommending tonight that the standalone stipends be brought forward individually, and the Project Momentum stipends, which the only people in our district that are eligible for the Project Momentum stipends are 2 groups of people. It's our already approved certified staff and our already approved administrative staff. Those 2 groups of people are the only people eligible. And so we're recommending those for you this evening as well. But this is a comprehensive document where we have one-stop shop, where we have every single stipend that we offer in one, so we're not looking and pulling from different places for Project Momentum on one side and athletic coaches on the other side. And so that's what we have before you this evening for your approval.
Members, any questions?
Mr. Nuttall, thank you for putting this together. I mean, this really breaks it down really simplistically. I just have a question, and I don't know if this has been brought up previously when it comes to our sports. Has wrestling ever been considered starting here?
It has not been considered. I wouldn't even begin to explain why not. My only thing would maybe just suggest that wrestling mats are about $28,000 a piece, and the liability for a contact sport in middle school is a touch higher than would be, baseball or softball. And maybe that's the only reason that that wrestling hasn't been brought on board.
Okay, I just wonder if maybe we can survey the community and the public.
Yeah, Member Kenyon, I think, again, to Mr. Nuttall's point, I mean, if there is a demand and this is a wrestling community, there are some higher costs. He's right, those mats can be very expensive to upkeep and clean and things like that. But yeah, if there's a demand, I think we can definitely explore that or other sports if there's a demand on the campuses. But yeah, a lot of things to look into for sustainability, but certainly.
Yeah, I've coached wrestling in the past, and yeah, it absolutely is a great sport, but you're also talking, the cost of the mats are really the defeating part to it. They are very expensive.
Members, I would just...
The other
please,
problem is storage.
Board Member Bixler, we're talking strictly on stipends at this point. I want to keep us on the agenda.
Where are you going to put them?
I think the best thing would be to direct staff under our last agenda item to research that a little bit. Just want to keep us on the agenda.
President Todd, I would like to, before the vote, just publicly recognize Jason and his staff, Natasha. This is best practice to have, like he said, a one-stop shop, nice, clean chart. And kudos to the board for having opportunities for students to be involved. We know achievement, wellness, success in life, all of those things, it doesn't take research to tell us. The more involved kids are, the more successful they'll be. And so to have these sports as an opportunity to have the board restore that through the override is a big win. And in working in other school districts, to have a nice, clean chart like this is just very helpful to staff. So I want to commend Mr. Nettle and his staff and Mrs. Camp for the work. I came in at the 9th inning of it, but they did all the work for this.
Thank you. I'll call for a motion in a second.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the school year 2023-24 stipends.
Okay, I have a motion. I have a second.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the 2023-24 stipends. When I call your name, please specify your vote. Board Member Parks?
Aye.
Board Member Aguirre?
Yes.
Board Member Bixler?
Aye.
Board Member Kenyon?
Aye.
I'm also an aye. We will show that proof. 5 yes, 0 no. Our next item on the agenda will be 8.4, approval to buy a 44-passenger special needs bus from RWC for the amount of $170,875.89.
Mr. President, governing board members, we need to buy a new special education bus. One has been decommissioned. Unfortunately, the cost of the repairs far exceed the value of the vehicle. And so in terms of being fiscally responsible, RWC has provided us a quote. They also, RWC, have an inventory that we can get turned around in August, which is why we are going with RWC. This does not include any of the fleet that has been ordered over a year ago and a lead time through a different company. So those buses are set to arrive later this month. We have 2 regular education buses yet to arrive and 1 special education bus yet to arrive. We did receive 1 special education bus earlier, but in order to maintain that special education fleet, this is paramount that we're able to get this position put forward so that we can get that special education bus in August before students arrive.
Is this part of the bond? Will this be this will be considered part of the bond, right? Part of the initial of what we went out to the voters for of, I forget how many buses we had said. It was a bunch.
It was 10 over the lifespan of the bond, I believe. And so we're about halfway there.
Okay.
But yes, it is.
Okay. And this will put all the special needs population, if you will, buses, this will put them virtually brand new, correct? Or how many do we have? Because I heard you say 2 plus this one.
We received 1. We ordered 2 in our original order in FY23. There's obviously a back order on those buses. Those are set to arrive. 1 has arrived. 1 is set to arrive here in June, and our 2 regular education buses are also set to arrive any day now from the other company that we use. So in terms of the replenishment of all of our transportation
So
fleet
just the special needs.
specific to special ed, we still have a ways to go. We probably have another 5. That does not account for our growth that's coming forward. This is just what we need right now to make sure we have a fleet that's operational for our current students.
Okay, thank you.
With that, our transportation department's okay supporting, is this a different brand bus than we normally use as well?
It'll be the same bus, it's just a different company.
All right, perfect. Okay, I'll take a motion in a second if there's no further discussion.
Point of order is, there is no action on this item, is there?
Looks like there's not. It says discussion. It does say approval to buy. Our type is discussion. I think that's a typo, but we do list it as approval.
It's an action item. It says it right in the description, the type.
Yeah.
Mine says discussion, but did it change?
On here it says
Click on it.
Oh, action discussion online it is. What do we say outside on our public agenda?
Yeah, look on 8.4, Athena, to see what language we have there.
Approval to buy a 44-passenger. Approval to buy a 44-passenger special needs bus from RWC for $170,000, 875, or $170,875 with 89 cents.
What does it say for type? Does it say discussion or action?
It says approval. It doesn't say discussion or action. It says approval.
On the
You have
online, it
subject,
says
meeting,
action and
access, and then
discussion.
type. You have the subject, which you read, it has the meeting, the date, then it's just show access, public, and then type
Type is action and discussion.
on the one hanging outside.
Oh,
That's the only one that matters, is the one hanging outside.
Says approval. It does not say anything about discussion. It says approval.
Do you have a picture of it?
I do.
Can we see it? I think we're misunderstanding. This is the item we're looking at.
Yeah, this is 89.
Okay, members, it does not show on the public one anything for a type, so I think we're okay with the approval section on 8.4 to proceed forward. We can.
Yeah, moving forward, President Todd will make sure that those discrepancies are eliminated, then it's.
I
there's a
think we
recommended
cover
action,
ourselves in
so.
your motion too, if we just say pending legal review. If he wants us to redo it, we can, but that would cover us, I believe.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve to buy a 44-passenger special needs bus from RWC for $170,875.89 pending legal approval.
Okay, do I have a second?
You second?
Go for it.
Second.
All right. Little game of rock, paper, scissors. They worked it out. We got a motion and a second. When I call your name, please specify your vote. Board Member Parks.
aye.
Board Member Aguirre.
Yes.
Board Member Bixler.
Aye.
Board Member Kenyon.
Aye.
I'm also an aye. We'll show that approved. 5 yes, 0 no. Next up is item 9.1, board comments or agenda topic requests.
I have just a comment. So just prior to this regular meeting, we had our, a budget meeting, and I want to thank Dr. Monroe and Ms. Strickler and everybody involved in that, and I'm looking forward to them. I'm learning a lot in them, and I hope that the public tunes in and looks at them, and so that they can learn, get some questions answered, and I appreciate those being available to us. Thank you.
Okay, anything else? All right, hearing none, I have a couple questions to ask. One, I think, just to clarify what was discussed when I kind of quieted everybody to stay on agenda topic, sports survey. I think it would be good to survey our community and see if they're interested in different sports, and are there any sports that we're doing now that maybe they're only doing because there isn't another option. So if we could look at that. I would also like to look at buses. I know we always run kind of thin on buses, and there is huge changes coming to the diesel motor industry for large vehicles. That's going to pass on costs that could be considerable, particularly with the Cummins engines. So I just think we need to get out ahead of this. We're hearing additional $100,000 coming for motors. It could be less. I hope it is, but I've heard all sorts of numbers from my industry. So I think if that's the case, we need to get a hard look. And unfortunately, there's no great number coming out yet from the manufacturers, specifically what it is. But we know that there's about a year and a half left of the current Cummins L9, and then it's going to go away. Also, I don't believe that we want to be the first round users of the new motor coming out. And I'm almost positive our transportation department would, in fact, I'll just take the almost out and say they'll support that 100%. So I don't know a lot about the specs going in, but if our current buses have L9 motors, we need to start looking at this. Also, just the shortage. We've got new schools coming, and there's still some great delays. So I'd just like us to explore that. And then last but not least, along that same line, transportation for our gifted program. Dr. Monroe, I would ask staff kind of start looking at that to bolster up the MAG program down at West R. It's the furthest reach of our district. There are reasons that it's down there, but there are also reasons that students from the far north probably don't attend. And I know we've done some special transportation for other students in the past, but I don't think we should be doing it for some and not all. So I would just ask that we explore that and come up with a plan and go from there. So those are my only requests. Other than that, upcoming board meetings, June 26th, July 10th, July 31st. I believe we've got some budget approval in one of those. Does anybody have any problems with or conflicts with those meeting dates? All right, hearing none, that looks good. We will move forward now to everyone's second most favorite topic. I'm not sure what the first is, but don't want to give the idea of it being our favorite. But 11.1, adjourn the meeting. I'll need a motion and a second.
Mr. President, I move we adjourn.
Have the motion,
I will second.
have the second. Call your name, please specify your vote. Board Member Parks.
Aye.
Board Member Aguirre. Board Member Bixler.
Aye.
Board Member Kenyon.
Aye.
I'm also an aye. Will show that approved 5 yes, 0 no. The meeting is adjourned.